Welcome back to episode 168 of Who Should You Choose, the first episode post the NHL 26 reveal trailer. So I think in today's video, we'll do a lot of yapping about that. I also want to first discuss that the new XP path for NHL 25 has now been changed to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Usually it's right around like noon or 2 p.m. It does look like 5 p.m. Eastern time is when they're going to do the change. And you can, expect the new XP path. I would assume that it would have been Matthew Tkachuk, but they gave you a Matthew Tkachuk for free if you pre-order the game. For anyone that hasn't seen that, we'll go over and take a look at that. But man, the menus, good God, just I beg, please. We'll go and take a look at that Matthew Tkachuk card that you can get for pre-ordering the game. I won't get it because we don't technically get pre-orders. We get given a code later on, so I will not be getting this Matthew Tkachuk. So I can't really show him off or anything like that in a video. That being said, here is the 99 Matthew Tkachuk for anyone that has not seen it. He's 99 at everything, including faceoffs. You can put him at center. He's got free abilities, unstoppable force, back at you. It's tricky, close quarters, and truculence. One of the more fun cards. Like, all of these abilities, it's tricky, it's completely pointless. But back at you is fun, not necessary, but fun. Truculence is always a blast, and he's 99 everything. So if you do pre-order the game, you are going to get this card. It does not give you a Matthew Tkachuk card for NHL 26, but I just wanted to point out that you can now go get that card. I do want to touch on pre-orders. So this is something that I figured out last year, and I'm sure you've seen it in the community. It's something that I noticed, and that is when you are going to pre-order the game. Here is, for anyone that is not a hardcore player, all right? Like an absolute hardcore, you guys know who you are, and if you're watching this, you probably are a hardcore player, but I want to point something out in the best and cheapest way to get NHL and all of the stuff that comes with it. So now you can go and pre-order NHL 26. I'm not going to play the beta. I want to view the product. Here we go. So as you can see, if you get EA Play, if you go and buy EA Play, you can get a discount. It would be 10% off of the price. This works for the Deluxe Big Boy Edition as well as the Standard Edition. As you can see here, again, you get 10% off with EA Play, so it knocks it down to $80.99. Now, if you go and search EA Play, you can just buy it for 1 month for $7.99. These prices are in Canadian, so obviously it's a little bit cheaper in the US in terms of the conversion, but you get the sense here it's going to work for everyone else. It's just obviously the dollar amounts are going to change a little bit. So for 1 month, you can get it for $7.99. Now, why this is important is what you do if you are not someone that is an absolute hardcore, even honestly, if you're not a HUT player, even if you're a World of Chell player, franchise, the new Be a Pro, all of that, I would not get the Big Boy Edition. I think the Big Boy Edition the Deluxe Edition is only good for the players, or you only get value for HUT players, and even that value is not a lot. For instance, you get a couple, you get an icon and a hero, whatever those are, but those will obviously help your team out, but they're not going to be something that in 3 weeks, you're like, man, I really wish I had that. You can earn cards like that usually very easily, and my content is going to show you how to do that. You'll get 4,600 points, which is about $50 in value, so you're basically just paying for the points. So what I would recommend is you get EA Play for 1 month. And then what you do is you get the NHL 26 Standard Edition of the game. So essentially it is going to cost you $88 for the same price, all right? Because you've got to get EA Play, but then you save the 8% because you get EA Play, you get the 10% off. It basically pays for itself. But the big bonus is that you get 10 hours of early access that will carry over. So on September 5th, when the game comes out, if you have EA Play, you can try out NHL for 10 free hours, and you don't even have to buy the game, but if you're going to, you can play the game for 10 hours, and your progress will transfer over. So if you're a HUT player and you want to take advantage of that FOMO, or you just watch all of us creators and all the other players, or your friends that got the Deluxe Edition that paid $150 for it, you can take advantage of the 10 hours that you get for free. And for a lot of people, man, you work full-time jobs, if your parents or whatever, like getting more than 10 hours is pretty tough for a lot of people. So you'll be able to get a lot of your desire to play the game early, and you don't pay full price. So I just wanted to show people that method. I would recommend that if you are someone that is going to play HUT. If you're still playing HUT NHL 25 from the launch of NHL 25, buy the Big Boy Edition. Because get EA Play first, you're still going to save a little bit of money, but because of the 10% off. But you might as well, because you're $150 for 1,000 hours of gameplay is worth it, in my opinion. but you don't need to. I just wanted to show everyone that method because that is what I stumbled across a little while ago. But now let's give my thoughts on the reveal trailer, kind of an unfiltered edition. You can go and watch my reveal or my reaction to the reveal trailer. I'm not gonna lie, empty. Someone had brought up on social media, I think it was Tugi. He brought this up that the hype trailer is kind of a tired formula. So if you watch the NHL reveal trailer, I'm not gonna lie, I'm hyped up for it. You know, it's crazy montage cinematics of stuff, but we really don't get anything out of it. Okay, we know the game looks cool when you put it in a cinematic. That obvious. FIFA, I'm not a FIFA player. FC, I'm not an FC player. But I watched the trailer because Tugi had pointed it out. Man, they broke the fourth wall. So in that trailer, if you haven't seen it, they basically start the trailer off and then they show little like tweets of people complaining, like, just show the gameplay. We don't want to see cinematics. Like fix turning radius, all of that stuff. And then it just shows that. And I was like, man, that is how you market for video games in 2025. We have never had more access to the developers and the companies that make games than we do now, just on social media. You might not have direct access, but they can see all of our opinions, right? And when I started playing games back in the early 2000s, we could complain to all of our friends in our inner circle, but the developers are never hearing that. You're not writing a letter. You're not mailing letters out to EA Bank. Maybe you did, and maybe you were one of the OG game changers. But that being said, the way that FC did it was incredible, and I think that NHL just so desperately needs, like, just be real. I have always stated that I think the player base is older, and as you get older, I'm not saying like you're 50. I'm just saying, like, as you get older, you lose the patience, you lose the blind optimism. Just be real, Show us some stuff and don't use big buzzwords. Just show us some stuff. And, if it's not a lot, sure, whatever, that's fine. It's just that trailer did its job to get people hype for just hockey in general, and it was it's a great montage. I'll be honest with you, like the voiceover, really well done from like a cinematic standpoint. It's just we want to see info. We want to see stuff that we're gonna get access to. We're not playing the game like it's some Fast and the Furious movie. You know what I mean? So once I saw Tugi make that comparison, I was like, man, you're bang on. That's exactly it. Because what was in the trailer, they talked about Ice Cube 2.0. I don't know what that entails. Here is my hope. I said this in the reaction video. Here is my hope. I don't think the EA NHL dev team has the amount of people that works for them to undertake dynamic attributes that go up and down, that a person would have to go in and edit and change attributes more than a few times a season. Okay, there's 700 players in the NHL, 800 players in the NHL now. There's 50 teams. So it's hard to do that, right? That is something that I hope AI can do. And what I hope is two things. One, I hope that they just take the Edge data and apply attributes based on formulas and data that is in the NHL stuff and the NHL Edge stuff. And what I want to point out, the biggest thing, shout out to my man Wolf in my Twitch stream. I'm gonna try and just read this verbatim. So the other hope that I have, and I don't have it for this year, I have it going forward. Okay. This is what the capability of Edge does. Okay, so in NHL, we don't have custom shots, we don't have custom skating strides, and I think that limits the game more than ever. And we really can't see an evolution of individuality of players until that is figured out. And to go in and edit every stride, that would require 100 employees working 8 hours a day on just that. Like, if you were to, guys, I want you to watch Nathan McKinnon's stride. Okay, go and watch a few clips of his stride. Go and try and make that in the editor, because you can technically do that. You can mess with their strides. How long would that take to get accurate, right? Without the player coming in and actually using player tracking. NHL Edge data allows them to track that kind of stuff. So I'm going to read this. This is something that Red Wolf showed up, and I'm going to read it verbatim. It's long. The chip sewn in to NHL player jerseys, part of the NHL Edge tracking system, captures data points used to track various player and team metrics during games. Here is what the chip tracks: player location and movement. The system tracks the player's X, Y, and Z coordinates on the ice, enabling real-time mapping of their position and movement. Speed. It measures a player's maximum skating speed and can track bursts of speed above certain thresholds. Distance skated. The chip records the total distance a player skates during a game or specific shifts, so like the power play, things like that. Time on ice. While not directly measured by the jersey chip, the location data allows for calculating a player's shift length and total ice time. That's pretty basic. Zone time. This system can track the percentage of time a player spends in the offensive, defensive, and neutral zones while on the ice. Shot data. When combined with data from the chipped puck, the system can track shot speed and the location of the puck at the point of release of a player's shot. Possession. The tracking system can contribute to analyzing puck possession for both individual players and teams. How the technology works. This is huge. The NHL Edge system uses infrared tags in the jerseys and a customized puck emitting infrared light. Multiple infrared cameras in the arena capture these signals, converting them into three-dimensional coordinates and data points. This data is then used to generate various statistics and visualizations for fans, media, and teams. It's important to note that unlike traditional statistics, the NHL Edge tracking data cannot be used in salary arbitration, contract negotiations, or any other transactional decisions due to an agreement between the NHL and the NHLPA. The infrared tracking stuff. This would allow to make models of how the player shoots and skates. So I do not think that this is in the game now, but I think this partnership could be huge. And maybe this video is going to be a clip and we're going to see it in 5 years about how wrong I am. This is just my hope. I think that this could potentially lead to custom shots and custom skating strides. And then we finally have individuality of players, especially in HUT, where we don't have to rely on someone's X factor abilities or their damn height, right? So that's my hope, and that would be huge. However, in the short term, I think it's a back of the box thing that they can put on there. I don't think it's going to have much of an impact in NHL 26. I don't. I would hope maybe they can utilize it for attributes to, I don't know, upgrade their rosters and make the offline rosters a little bit more accurate. But we have amazing creators in the community that already do that, and there's downloadable customized rosters. Vasilevsky makes an unbelievably detailed roster. Go and check out his work if you are a franchise guy. It's unbelievable and way detailed, and we're talking about for all prospects and everything. So I don't think that's a lot of hype. The goalie crease control system, in my YouTube short going over the stuff, I just said I'll believe it when I see it. They talk about goalies all the time. I don't even know what a good goalie would look like. I guess no bad goals. Bad goals happen in the real life, but I don't want to see this dino arm thing whenever there's a green up one-timer. Fix that. That's what I want to see. If they can stop that stupid thing that they're doing like this when a shot comes in to allow the shot to go in when they green up a one-timer, get rid of that. Be a pro. Again, the cinematic and hype for it, unbelievable. I think that they would have, I think Be a Pro is great. And it's funny, a lot of people won't care about Be a Pro. I've played Be a Pro since the first year. I will check it out. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much Be a Pro is how much of a mode that is played. A majority of the player base guys, whether you're a HUT player, World of Shell player, whatever, you mess around with franchise mode at some point. At some point you do. For the most part. I'm not talking about everybody. For the most part. A lot of the player base plays franchise and offline, and Be a Pro is a very important way for a mode for that game. And it finally gets its upgrade. No more pricey pond hockey. I think that's huge. Doesn't move the needle for a lot of the player base, right? It just doesn't, unfortunately. What else do we get? They mentioned X factors. So there's over 60 X factors in NHL abilities. This year, they basically used 10 of them in HUT. I can't talk for World of Shell, but for HUT, they used 10 of them because they just looked at, okay, what are the most used abilities? Okay, we'll just release cards that have those abilities. But that data is skewed because you're only giving us cards with the same abilities. How many defensemen had shutdown, Elite Edges, Heat Seeker, and then Quick Pick or Truculence. Like, in some combination of that. And those are good cards. Those are the best abilities. But it's like, I want to see Big Tipper. I want to see Total Eclipse. It was all the same stuff. And it looks like they're reworking X Factors down to 28. I think that's a great idea. I think that Puck on a String is kind of pointless. I think that Send It is pointless. I think that It's Tricky is pointless. It can be meshed in with another ability. That's what I hope to see, right? And I don't know what they'll look like, but maybe they'll be more individual. I want it to be a hard choice. Okay? And I want there to be more choices. I don't want to have my cards only have Elite Edges on them. If it doesn't have Elite Edges, I'm not looking at it. I don't want that. I want to have a Brett Hull card that comes out with shooting X Factor abilities that make it really difficult to take him out of my lineup, even though he skates like a tugboat, right? Like, I love that stuff. I want a centerman that can skate like the wind, has 99 draws or quick draw, but he has 82 shooting, and he can't hit the broadside of a barn. Give me some of that stuff, right? Like, I just don't want to see the same things over and over again, and I hope to God they don't make some abilities just so overpowered, because that's when I won't, you better believe, I won't say a damn word about abilities. I don't care if there's an ability that's so overpowered, I'm not giving my opinion on it. Nope, learn my lesson. The game is completely subjective when it comes to abilities, and when you release them in HUT, this is the thing that I learned from AP Gate. When you release something in HUT, you have to take into account that people spent time or people spent money. And when you rug pull, whether that's completely changing how past events worked, or completely changing how year-long chase cards worked, or changing how games or cards are valued based on their abilities being pointless or things like that, you've now wasted people's time and money. And in Ultimate Team, that can't happen. That is what I learned from AP Gate. So if you're going to mess with X Factors and redo them, I hope to God that they're all flushed out and in a good spot and balanced at launch. Faith in that, not high. But we'll see, okay? We can't critique something that hasn't come out yet. And then HUT. We got the HUT Cut Chase mode in there. There's a small blurb on HUT in the press release. If you've played the playtest, you've seen some of the stuff. We can't really talk about it. Here is what I'll say about HUT. I have a little bit of hope that HUT is better in 26 and 25. And this is not me EA bootlicking. This is just from a personal, reading of the game. HUT content is something that can be changed like that. It is not something that requires dev time. Now, the menus and the mechanics in the mode, that requires dev time. Okay? I'm talking about exciting content can be changed immediately at any time. And my hope is that this year, was them just gathering data. Okay? Because they can see all of the cards used, all the X Factor abilities used, how many people made sets, all of that stuff they can see. I pray they use the data correctly. That's it. In a fun and exciting way. I don't know what that means, but I have hope that it will be more of a focus for them, which has me excited for that aspect of the game. But outside of it, if you're not someone who's interested in be a pro, we really haven't seen much. But it's very early. That trailer was not meant to be like, this is all the stuff, get excited for this. It was meant to just get people talking about NHL 26. Great, exciting montage. I think they learned with the EAFC's style of video that is 100% the way to go. Honestly, guys, if you've never played EAFC, go watch the reveal trailer, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll be like, damn, I'm jealous. Obviously, a much bigger franchise, all of that, but the style of content that they released 100% should have been done. Think how big that company is, and they basically were just real. They were just like, all right, you guys said this sucked. Here it is. That's crazy to me, because the marketing of that is such a risk. You're basically saying, this sucked. It's 80% of our revenue as a company, billions of dollars, the biggest sports game in the world. This stuff sucked. We fixed it. Chef's kiss. All right. I didn't even get to your questions and comments, and I do apologize. This was an episode that, obviously, there's so much NHL 26 just happened. I will get to the questions. If you had a question that was specific in the last video, just copy and paste it. I'm not going to be upset, and I'll go through the video tomorrow like we do on Who Should You Choose, but It's exciting times. NHL 26 is out. Let's go.